Congratulations. You found the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Very well. Where do I begin?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Reach for this one.
And now, a real hit show.
I don't know what you want.
Live from the Twin Cities.
I don't know who you are.
It's the Twin Cities Hit Show.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Let's get this hit show started.
You're signaling me. Hands, thumbs up in the... You're having a good day. Thumbs up.
We are maxing on the meter. We're coming in at the red. We're coming in hot.
I always... Now we're hitting the red. Well, you're over there. Here, I'll do it for you. Okay, there we go.
I don't want to mess with anything because yesterday
everything
looked great. Everything was metering nicely.
Until we flew into the mountain.
Did we fly into a mountain?
No, we didn't.
There
was some compression issues. Yeah. It's a word I've learned. Compression.
It sounds better today, though.
Does it sound better today?
It does.
It does? Okay.
The show will be much worse, but we sound
Yes, you'll be like, you'll be crystal clear.
It sounds great here, but people are hearing...
Hey, it's Twin Cities Hit Show. I'm Rusty Gatenby.
I'm Chuck Goblin.
And I'm Miss Shannon.
And we have a special guest, Chuck. Why don't you introduce our guest?
Hessley Rey, comedian and the promoter, booker...
I would
organizer
say executive producer.
Executive
yeah,
producer.
it sounds better than
sounds fancy.
Yeah, because that sounds a lot like hooker.
Yeah.
And
well,
I also get mistaken for that sometimes.
I was going to
really?
say booger. It sounded like booger.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
like a whole different route. Yeah.
Here's Hessley Rey, a huge booger.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's not a good title. I was a hit at recess when I was a kid.
Man.
Oh, I can imagine.
He's the recess bully.
No, I was not. I was the Rodney Dangerfield of recess.
Okay.
Speaking of recess, I want to give a shout out to my son, who this weekend will be graduating from the University of Minnesota.
Oh, that's awesome.
2 down, 2 to go.
What is he majoring in?
He's a hooker.
He's
Can you get a graduate degree in that?
He's got a double major in economics, business, and then Spanish.
Yeah. What's he going to fall back on?
He's a nerd.
No, he's the captain of the Gopher lacrosse team.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
he's a 6-foot, muscle-bound, handsome man.
Just like you. Got it from Daddy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
Exactly
Here, hold
like
on.
Old man.
Here you go. Check him out right there. What do you think, huh?
Wow.
Right?
What a looker.
And then,
Not a hooker.
was that sarcasm? That's a handsome
he's
young...
handsome. I'm proud of his brain.
Next
and
to- I'm
his
Look at
showing-
you, so
proud of
protective.
I'm showing,
I know,
I'm
geez.
showing a photo.
No,
and
he looks amazing. So I don't know if he's single.
He is single.
Does he have a signal to give out?
Are you trying to hook him up? He has
Oh,
let him
okay.
graduate.
Ladies.
And,
Yeah, let's get him.
Rusty
Get him working at that
Gatenby's
video store
son
and then...
is very attractive, and he just is graduating with a double major.
There you go.
You going to set up his Tinder account for
He's,
him? Rusty? What are you
he's
doing?
got a-
Yeah, he's on Tinder for his son.
Exactly.
You're
Let's
not
get
good
him.
enough.
Let's
I'm
get
gonna
him working at
swipe for him.
Chipotle, and then we'll hook him up once he got
He
stable
works,
job.
he's got a job with Prudential Financial as a
Fancy.
financial
Oh,
planner.
great
And,
company.
I think
and
his
big sister graduated from Carlson 2 years ago. She's got a job at Target as an executive.
You made some smart
Yeah.
kids.
I have 2 others that they're not going to make it.
Oh,
You know, Target laid
So
me off.
those
so
two
I
supporters
should
have to
talk
support
her.
you 3 then? Is that
Yes.
what
Yeah, well, that's good. You should plan for the future in that way. Invest in your children; they'll take care of you.
Make children.
will.
You
when
hope.
you turn into Rusty.
The other, Ruby and Reed, the younger 2, are also fantastic and wonderful. I was
Yeah,
just
you just want to
kidding. I
cause
was just
fights when you get home.
joking.
Is that what you're trying to do? Just give them in therapy.
My,
right
I
now.
just wish you could have one bad apple though, because I'm feeling like I'm a mother too.
That's
You know,
me,
like isn't there one kid that's sort of like, well, they're a lot of fun to be
On
around.
radio,
They're
I'm saying no, but you can see I'm nodding.
You're trying to make them compete against each other to see who's
Right.
the bad one. That's not me. It's you.
Yeah. I have 2 great
You're
kids and
very
1 that
pretty.
didn't make it.
Yeah. Oh.
We had to put him down.
That went sad.
Oh,
so quick that
Chuck,
went
I
sad.
thought this was a lighthearted show.
It is.
Normally
That's
is.
the
It's
only
just
reason I
him.
agreed
It
to
is.
this.
It's
Jeez.
parenting.
So
Chuck, ugh.
there's a story about millennials, which my son is a millennial. This was just on the news this morning. Where do we all fall in? I'm not. I guess I'm a freaking baby boomer.
Are you
Yeah.
a baby
Oh,
boomer?
you're a baby boomer. How-
1961.
Oh
is
my
that a
God,
baby
you are.
boomer?
You're a baby boomer.
Damn
You're the
it,
last
I wanted to be
one
Gen
alive.
X.
Yeah, I'm a Gen X.
Yeah.
So
I'm Gen X too. Yeah. Hey.
I'm going to say
Yeah.
I
I'm
forgot to
High
sign up
five.
for this. I don't even know what I didn't get
We
my
just
registration
high-fived.
in. I probably am nothing.
You're probably...
I think you're
we thought you were nothing.
octogenarian.
I get that a
An
lot.
octogen.
I don't know. I mean, you look a little tired today, so I'm just guessing.
Well, the millennials now are the largest population in the workforce.
Oh,
Did you
God.
know that?
This is bad news.
Here's the data on them.
Well, I think it's always important when talking about this generation, 86 million people, to distinguish between the sort of sentimental judgments that people talk about. They're pampered, they're entitled.
They're coddled.
They're coddled.
Allergic
They're
to
Chuck.
work.
All of this with the unsentimental statistics. This is statistically the most diverse generation in the workforce. It is the most educated generation by college attendance in American history. It graduated into a recession. And so when you confront these things together, the tremendous expectations they had, and combined with the fact that they aren't earning as much as past generations, and they have a higher rate of unemployment, you have a sense that the social contract of school is broken down, and a lot of them are frustrated in their early jobs in the economy. In fact, when you look at their history of buying cars and houses, the two big-ticket items in the U.S. economy, it's clearly behind track compared to Gen X and the baby boomers. Now, that's going to change. It's a large generation. They're going to get richer. They're going to get better jobs. But this is a student debt generation, which means they have less debt left over for auto loans and mortgages.
Yeah, the student loan thing.
Right.
This whole thing is faulty because
But what is America without debt?
this whole thing is faulty
That's what
because he
I
said
know.
China.
he said statistics and frustrated, and
geez.
so he has lost me.
I'm not even worried about
you
that.
know
What
what?
I'm worried about is, is it using those as the test of whether we are doing well or not? Like, I sold my house and do not want to buy another house, and I'm still
That's a
because
great
after
point,
the
yeah.
economy changed,
Yeah.
I'm like that stereotypical historic American dream of to show that you are doing well is you have to be a homeowner. Why? Because after I ended up losing money on my house because the
very
economy.
true. Yep.
You know, I didn't do anything wrong. The economy changed.
Let's
so now
change the
why do I
measurement
need it?
of how we quantify people's worth.
Exactly.
And it should be if they are Shannon Paul, that's one, like that very good. That's
Lives
on
in
the
a
good
tent
side.
down by the river.
And then
Which
if
I
they're
do
Chuck,
not.
Chuck all up bad.
Yeah, there you go.
How about
Thank you.
that? Like,
Thank
and
you.
then
That makes it
probably
clear.
most,
That makes it
most of
perfectly
America
clear.
could fall somewhere in the middle. You know,
And you'd be
I
doing
think that's
just fine.
healthy, and
Yes.
we'd be fine. Yeah, some of us would have houses and bleeding money out into them as a millennial who's very educated, and some of us would be renting and super happy and free, and you can just pick up and go.
And I
Right.
owe the Star Tribune money, so
Oh,
that's
do
how
you?
that's going. Yeah,
That is awkward because they're listening.
They know that you're here.
Oh my God.
yeah.
They're calling him right now.
We
like-
had whole classes on millennials when I was a police supervisor because I came from the generation of the hardworking, and if there's a late call, you stay over. If you're low in seniority, too bad, you're stuck.
Yeah,
You-
that's
you drop
illegal now,
everything.
though.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah.
So speaking of illegal, so they have whole classes on dealing with these people because people are like, nope, I'm not going to work. Oh, you have to. You're required as part of your job to be here. I can't. I have issues. I got something going on. I got to go. And it's just this whole thing where it became all the senior guys would work the overtime details. None of the young guys would be there. None of them.
Which reminds me, I have to leave early today.
I feel like
So you're learning.
Breaking
You're catching up with the
stereotypes,
new
Rusty.
times.
right
Yeah.
now we're all like, yeah, you should work hard and don't be entitled. And now I'm kind of getting this vision that we're all like hunched over old men sitting around a table, like when I was young,
Yeah.
we
Oh, yeah.
worked.
Yeah.
And what good did it
50
do
million
us though?
hours.
You
Yeah.
still end up getting fired, and then you end up with a heart attack. So
You know what?
sometimes
You're
go
right.
home.
Sometimes you should have work-life balance.
I want to play a little bit of this song and see if you remember this song. It was a very obscure song. I think it came out in the 90s, but I thought it was an interesting song.
I will dispense this advice now. Enjoy the power and beauty of your
yes.
youth.
I remember
Well,
this
never
one.
mind.
Yeah.
You will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they've faded. But trust me, in 20 years, you'll look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you and how fabulous you really looked. You are not as fat as you imagine.
Some people are though.
Don't worry about the future,
That out there.
or worry, but know
Anyway,
that
I thought
worrying
this was
is as effective as trying
an
to
incredible
solve
song when I
algebra
first heard it. I'm like,
equation
wow,
by
they're
chewing
actually
bubble
playing
gum.
this on the radio?
The real trouble in your
Inspiring.
life
Yeah.
are apt to be
Anyway, it's
things
called
that never cross
Everybody's
your worried
Free
mind.
to Wear
Kind that
Sunscreen.
blindsides
So
you
if
before
you've
the
forgotten or if you've never heard it, look it up on YouTube. It's
Do one
it's
thing
pretty cool.
every
I
day.
forgot about that.
It's a
Yeah.
good motivator, you know. But I feel like that's true too.
Don't
Where
be reckless
later
with
in
other
life you
people's
start
hearts.
realizing those
Don't put
lessons
up with
where
people who
you know
are
when you had all the potential, when you had your youth, when you had everything going for you,
Don't waste
you
your
don't
time
you
on
don't get
junk.
it until
Right.
later, and that's
Sometimes
just
you're
that's the
ahead.
cycle of life
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Right.
I can't tell my daughters, you know, the lessons that I had to learn by going through life, and so you know they have to go through.
Right.
What's fun is just
These
since
millennials are not going to get it. We could talk all day, and I will if you guys want. But
This
I
we know.
sincerely looked at a photo yesterday that was out in the kitchen. It's me and Connor at his high school graduation. I remember taking the photo going, damn it, I'm so fat. And I remember looking at the photo. Now I looked at the photo this morning and went, I want to get back to that skinny. I remember going, I'm
think
embarrassed by
everyone-
this
yeah.
photo. And so it doesn't go away, I
So
guess.
that was your picture of this. Is I
millennials
need to
can
stop
totally
opening
relate
the
to you,
fridge.
by the way, because they see a photo that they took yesterday on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh, that I looked way better than I thought I did when I was seeing that on Instagram." You know,
Filters help, though.
Yeah,
That's
it does help. You know,
Valencia,
that's true.
I like the
that's
Valencia.
something we never had. You know.
If my filter could cut off just like, for example, just my head and body, I think the pictures would look better. Do they have a filter that does that?
Just put pictures
I
of your
think
coffee
so.
cup all the
Yeah.
time. That'll work. Coffee
Yeah.
cup and food.
Oh, good call.
Yeah,
It'd be very popular.
People love that.
Yeah,
Very
Instagramming
popular.
food is amazing. It's better than eating it.
Yes.
Why live in
Yeah.
the moment? Take a picture.
You know,
It lasts longer.
I get a little weirded out though of people taking like food at their like pictures of food at their house.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then I kind of see like their dirty countertop.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
gross.
yeah, it looks
Stage
kinda
it. I
good.
stage
TMI.
mine.
But
Yeah.
you should at least like put it on a pretty tablecloth or something. It just bothers me when I see people's dishes. I
Well-
don't. It's kind of a quirk of mine. Like I don't want to see your dishes if I'm looking at my dishes.
And then you know you don't want to
Could
get
you-
invited over.
Yeah,
though.
I
You're
don't
like,
want to
I
go
don't
to your house.
Right.
No, thank you. That prime rib looks delicious, but I don't want any.
Yes.
Selfie too. Your duck face looks delicious, but could you tidy up the bathroom, please? Dirty underwear hanging off your shower.
Did you
behind-
see that one of the girl? Like, there's like the worst selfies, whatever. I click through all these things because I'm very bored and I don't have a lot of friends.
You wonder who hits all the clickbait pages? That's
yeah,
all.
that's me. That's me, and I can't help but do it. But anyway, this one was like top 15 worst selfies ever. There's some girl sitting like on her toilet
Yes,
doing this, but
yes.
then you can see her. They have a full length mirror.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's just on the pot.
Yeah.
Taking a selfie.
And
It
she-
relaxes
Crop
her.
that. You
It-
should
you know,
crop
instead
that.
of reading, she's selfieing.
Yeah, I don't want to
Bam.
mention names because I don't want to mention names because I'm accused of being an online bully. But there
Do-
was a person in
Do
my
a
life.
rhyming name.
Oh, good.
So we can guess.
Shat. So we'll just say that's really a name. But this person would put up a picture.
His name is Post Tense Pooping.
him or her. It could be either from the name, but you could put up this person would put up a picture where they look beautiful and radiant and perfect pose and blah blah blah. Everyone around them is a shit show. They're looking sideways. They're
Yeah.
picking their nose.
One
they're
eye
puking.
is going that
Yes.
way, and like the other eye
Yeah.
is staring
But-
straight. Yeah.
But they look radiant and beautiful. Or they put up a picture with their significant other. The other is like looking the wrong way with a spoon coming with food.
So they
falling
don't
out.
Yeah.
warn the other people in the photo that a photo is being taken.
Oh,
they're
they go
posting
through
it
the
'cause
photos.
They want you
Yeah.
to see them look pretty, and they don't care about how they're affecting other people. Which is again back to millennials.
They're so narcissistic. This isn't a
Bringing it
millennial either,
home.
by the way.
Just
They're
somebody
So
narcissistic.
narcissistic that they
Yeah.
go through like 15 pictures. Like, oh, I look at that one. Everyone around them is like it.
They
it's-
look like crap.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
just a
Yeah.
terrible friend.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just how it is.
That's
Are you
a
sure
bad
that
friend. You guys
person's
should
name
not
doesn't
do
rhyme
that.
with Dusty? Because I do that all the time. That's totally what I do. Who doesn't do that? What are you talking about?
Let me ask you
I
this.
don't. I try to. I mean, I care about
Dusty
balance in the photos.
Rayton-B.
Yeah.
Doesn't ring a bell. Don't know. Is his name Mitch? What are you
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, that happens
Dusty
to.
Rage.
No, can't figure that one
I'm
out.
still lost on that one too.
You know, I had this weird. Not to change the subject, but I was like, "Oh, I'm going on this show with Rusty."
Not to
Gatenby.
change the subject, but I'm
And
Hessley Rey.
I had this huge.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, it's me. I'm hopeful millennial. Anyway, no, I had this whole idea that I would write this short story about you because you've been active in the Minneapolis St. Paul community.
She's
for a
looking at
long
Rusty,
time.
by the way.
I'm looking deep into his eyes right now.
Thank you.
And it would be this cool story, like. No one really knew what you did, but you threw these elaborate parties and stuff, and then like you had a green light at the end of your dock, and I would call it the Great Gatenby.
I totally do that. You haven't been on Minnetonka?
I know. You would be on Lake Minnetonka shining
The Great
your green
Me.
light.
Like,
yeah.
it's time
The
to
Great
come.
Me.
I thought it was a great idea.
It
I
is
don't,
a good
I don't know
idea.
if any publishers are out there.
I'm going to
and
tell my
want to-
girlfriend Zelda that you've got this story idea.
You should. No, her name would
make
be Daisy.
Oh, Daisy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well
We have
done.
a great YouTube
Nice
you know,
throwback.
web series that we can do with that, Hessley. We can make it. That
I
would be a
love
good web
to.
series.
I think that would be a great web. Hey,
You should get on that.
fist bump.
Yes.
Well, you and I will do it. They'll just be like characters.
Okay,
Be
we can do
whatever.
that.
Chuck, you
We'll
can
just use
be,
his name.
I guess, the writer. If you
Oh,
want.
God, no.
That's
How about
I
Towel
think-
Boy? Can I be a Towel Boy?
Oh,
Yeah.
who's one that dies?
Yeah.
That'd be Gatsby. Yeah.
South Park.
I know. But
You'll be
there's
our
another
Kenny.
character who died in
character.
there.
You'll be our Kenny. You'll just die all
Yeah,
the time.
just be Kenny in every webisode.
Yeah, I like-
All
So,
right. Well,
here we are.
You're welcome for that.
Thursday, and yeah, I grew up in the Twin Cities, and it seems each year we become more and more happening. Which, by the way, when this stadium is finished, and that downtown is redone, the city's going to go off the hook. But anyway, looking forward to the weekend. There's a lot going on
Yes.
again this
Yeah.
weekend, including you guys are comedians. Kevin Hart is once again selling out an arena.
Target,
An arena. Yeah. Here's a little bit of of Kevin Hart doing an arena.
I got a lot of fears, man. I got a lot of fears as a parent. I'm gonna tell you guys one of my biggest fears. One of my biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. That's a fear. Keep in mind, I'm not homophobic. I have nothing against gay people. Be happy. Do what you want to do. But me being a heterosexual male, if I can prevent my son from being gay, I will. Now, with that being said, I don't know if I handle my son's first gay moment correctly. Like, every kid has a gay moment, okay? Every kid. But when it happens, you gotta nip it in the bud. You gotta stop it right then. Hey, stop! That's gay! It's quick. No! I don't know if I handle my son's situation right, okay? He's at a birthday party, right? My son had a birthday party. He's playing. You know when kids play, they just play. You don't know what they're doing, but they're having a good time. They're just doing a bunch of stuff, right? They're moving around. I said, okay, he's good. I finished talking. I turned back around to check on my son again. A little boy was grinding on my son's ass. He was like this. I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I knocked them both down. Hey, what's going on here? What kind of party is this? Huh? What kind of party is this? What's going on here? This lady came out. She's like, what are you doing? They kids. Let them play. I said, well, you show me another kid getting fucked in the ass and I'll calm down. My son had on corduroys. That's why I had an attitude. Because I didn't see it. I heard it. All I heard was... I said, who the hell is playing cards? What is that?
So did he land a controversial joke there?
I'm not sure he
Kevin
landed
Hart,
it.
everyone.
I think it
And then
skidded
we're
off
just
the runway.
off the show.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
I didn't think I thought Kevin Hart was a safe comedian.
No.
No. You know, yeah, no.
He doesn't even have like necessarily safe movies. He ends up with movies that end up going, well, was that stereotypically racist? Was it this? And he's updated his act. I mean, he had a very big YouTube presence. He sells out arenas in Europe and all this stuff. So he was a very hardworking comedian. So I appreciate his work ethic as a comic. He's not one of those lazy comics. But he gets away with some stuff because he's Kevin Hart, you know. So
Right.
and that's his perspective. And you don't have to
But
agree with
for
his perspective.
example,
You know,
like-
I mean, before he even got to the gay, I'm like, why are you talking about this little kid like that? So I wouldn't necessarily have laughed at it, but
We
you know.
weren't laughing. Shannon
Right.
and I were like holding hands and crying
Right.
over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause I'm like, no,
And
I
yet,
style.
he's
And
selling
yet
out the
it
Target
works. Here's the
Center.
thing, though, too. I would say comedians, you know, like part of the game is always to push the envelope,
Right.
to highlight things in society. He's probably not necessarily homophobic, but he's pushing that topic and making it something that certain people can laugh about. I think the danger lies in the people who agree with that, even though he's trying to make a joke.
Right, because we talked
You know
about
what I
that
mean?
before, where
Yeah.
it's a matter of you might be trying to be satirical, but just because you're pushing it and saying that this is just something that I'm displaying I'm displaying this to an audience
highlight-
so I can highlight how
Yes.
ridiculous this kind of behavior is.
Yeah.
But there's always a few people that are going to go, nope, that's how I feel.
Yes,
you know, and I think
exactly.
that it's
and it
anything
gives them
like this.
the microphone then through that comedian in a
Because
way.
instead of
Yeah.
them laughing and going, "Oh yeah, that's ridiculous,"
They're
people
like
don't
sitting
really...
in church, like,
No,
"Oh, hell
yes,
yes,
it's right.
Yep,
that is exactly
it.
what I
Yeah.
think. Yes, and that's where it gets difficult, and it always
and it
worries
promotes
me.
more hatred. I mean, I feel like the best comedians in my mind are the ones who push the envelope a little bit, but leave everyone feeling more connected.
Right.
And you're leaving, like, you just left a good friend's house, and your stomach hurts from laughing so hard, and you feel good. That's how people should leave those shows. I think that's where some comedians fail, is because people are leaving being more polarized.
And I kind of think that the thing about Kevin Hart, though, too, is that he's already popular, but he gives new comics, like, I could just say whatever, because it's this. And I'm like, well, you need to either make... I mean, at least that story is, he's trying to make it specific to him, which, so if you're going to have a position, go ahead and own it. I'm all about that. But then newer comics go, I could be like that. It's like, no, you need to either, what's your perspective on it? So he has earned that right to be able to do that. And you could still not think it's funny. There's a lot of people who didn't buy tickets to go see Kevin Hart, too. He's not everybody's style, but there's always a bunch of...
Who will be in the crowd? Who goes to a Kevin Hart? Because I know my
Shannon and I.
my oldest daughter, who was the Target executive last time around, he's like, Dad, do you have a connection? You give me tickets to Kevin Hart. I'm like, what does he sing? No, the comedian.
Really?
Like,
Oh,
wow. All right.
Because I think, from
Dad.
when I've seen him before, there's a reason why he can sell out things like
He's got a
Target.
great stage presence.
Yes, and it is a variety of people that go to see him.
I went to
Because he
Tyler-
doesn't only hit those subjects; he hits a lot of different subjects.
I went to the Tyler Perry Medelia show.
Medea.
Medelia.
Medallion
frustrating.
show.
Medallion
I'm
show.
a gold medallion.
Exactly.
And again, I was like,
Amelia Bedelia is what he's got going to say.
and it's at the Target Center. I'm like,
Yes.
wow, that's amazing.
Yes, which, obviously, we're now comparing two things that are not the same thing, because I feel like you're dancing around the subject like, are there that many black people
Are there
in
that many-
Minneapolis?
Are
Oh,
there
we just
that
danced
many-
right into
It's
the
not-
middle of that floor.
No,
Because Medea is totally different. I mean, if you
I'm-
go into those church play comedies, that's a different thing. It's like people who, those are a specific audience that like those musical comedies of that particular ilk. Kevin Hart, I do think, has a broader appeal than that. And that's why he can pull so many, such a large audience in here. And he doesn't do a lot of shows anymore. Because when he was first coming to town, then he would do stages like at the Pantages and smaller rooms like that.
Yep.
Because there's not many comedians who come to town and play the Target Center.
No, there's not.
That's
I
true.
mean,
No.
there's
Yeah.
Kevin Hart and Dane Cook, and
Dane Cook.
that's it.
Yeah.
Shannon Paul.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really
I
true.
will not
Paul.
be.
Chuck Gollop
that's what you say.
is
Well-
going to close for her, though.
Playing across the street, basically, or a couple of blocks away, playing at the State Theater this weekend, Kids in the Hall. They are a comedy
Oh,
troupe.
my God.
Yes.
That
Love
was
those.
They had a
so
TV
funny,
show
yeah.
in Canada. They segued
I
briefly
really
to
wanted
HBO.
to go to this kind of thing, and just because you could get like special event tickets where you got like a T-shirt and a bunch of stuff, and got to meet the guys, and that was what I was going to
Very
buy. I
cool.
wanted
Yeah.
to go see that because I really did like that show.
What's
I
one?
They
did.
launched
Yeah.
some careers too. That guy from
Dave Foley, right?
Yeah, yep.
He was news radio and his
Yeah.
voice in some animated
Yeah.
features.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the tour. I want to play this one bit. It's about a minute, and I'm playing it because Chuck, you'll gather why, knowing me, why I like this sketch. Here, listen.
No, I know it's a cliche, but my favorite album of all time is still Sgt. Pepper.
Sergeant Pepper, what's that?
Well, it's only the Beatles' most famous album.
The Beatles. I'm sorry, who are they?
Well, the best group of the 60s?
Oh, the 60s. I didn't hear much music in the 60s.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, Dad always was a little crazy, but after the car accident, when he started taking the medication, things got worse. One night, he woke me up and knocked me out. Brought me down the basement, where I lived for the next decade. I heard no music. I had no friends. I just lived in the darkness. They shoved food under my door, so I had to eat pancakes and pizzas. It was a nightmare, but I survived.
That's horrible. I'm sorry.
Of course I heard of the Beatles, you retard.
Long way to go, but right?
Who is the main character's name? So the guy who first started talking, what's his name again?
Dave Foley.
Dave Foley. Okay, so he had another little like YouTube sketch that all my friends and I die laughing. Like we play it all the time, but it's called Shoes, and it's like he and his twin sister like get birthday presents, and the boy gets a car and like all this stuff, and then he's playing the sister, and all he wants are shoes. You should like look at it. It's really funny. But I love Canadians because their humor always just cracks me up. It's probably because we live in Minnesota. We're very close to them.
So you're like, I feel them. I
love you, Canadians.
You Canadians. So we have Kevin Hart at the Target on, I want to get the days right, Friday.
Correct.
Saturday is Billy Joel at Target. I mean, right? This town is happening.
Totally happening.
Princess Holly's going to this without me.
Oh, your gal?
My special lady friend.
What did you do?
She
Didn't
scored
she get
free
the tickets
tickets
before? Yeah, I think so.
How do we feel about Billy Joel?
We like him.
Yeah, I
Joel,
think he's good.
Yeah.
I think he's going somewhere.
He had a brief stretch where it was
could really go
not-
far, maybe. If he kept this up.
If he learns how to play the piano.
Yeah.
There was a stretch there, like college, right after college. If you're going to a party, I couldn't throw Billy Joel on. They'd be like, "What are you doing?
Really?
Throw on U2 or Elvis Costello, Billy Joel. What are you?"
I think
like
they were
him,
judging
and
you for your pink polo.
And he has a lot of those songs that I'm like, I feel like all the acapella groups just jam
Oh,
on to, and you're all
totally.
like, and you and another Billy Joel
karaoke.
song. Okay,
He's a good karaoke guy. Yeah.
Oh,
Whenever-
karaoke.
Yeah.
Say it right, Chuck.
So
I
sorry.
flew my Billy Joel flag, though. When I was a freshman, I cranked this tune and it would echo throughout the dorm. You made me right.
I can imagine right now Rusty like putting in a bunch of hair gel and being like, "You look cool, man," with this playing in the background.
And me behind him going, wait, and then popping his collar up for him, going, "Now you're ready, Tiger."
Let's go get some girls.
Isn't he one of those people that you're just like, wow, I forgot how many hits you had, where you could just go song after song after song after song.
All
that
night
was just
long.
banging.
What an amazing performer. He's, brilliant man. So,
Yeah,
we like
so I'm
him.
jealous. We want to go.
His real name is William,
I
just
want
so you know.
to go. What?
Oh,
That changes everything.
and I no longer like him.
William Joel.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Gross. Sounds like a nerd name.
All right, I just want to get to the chorus because, I'm not...
You ready?
I'm not
Ready,
always
get
right,
you.
but sometimes.
Everyone's playing air guitar in here right now. This is terrifying.
We got one air
Oh,
drum.
and then air drum. I'm just doing the Minnesota white girl head bob.
We're all just going to sit here and sing along now. That makes the show much easier, Rusty,
Yeah.
if you just start playing like
Yeah.
Billy Joel standards and we'll just sing along.
We should do karaoke.
Exactly.
Karaoke.
Karaoke.
You know,
Now,
that is a
statistics.
Minnesota thing too, though. Like we're the only state that says karaoke.
It's
Really?
Japanese. It's actually karaoke.
Karaoke.
at the
Yeah, and then
Caboose,
you-
Saturday. Sunday. George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic
Nice.
at the Caboose.
Wow, that's gonna be smaller venue.
Nice.
Sunday night though.
Can you imagine the power of being in the Caboose? Your hair will be blown back.
My extensions will fly against the wall.
All the cigarette smoke coming out of the ceiling will kill you.
So we got that going on, and then a complete palette change for you at the Mystic Lake. Little country and western for you. Willie Nelson.
Really? How did I miss that?
The Twin Cities are happening.
Yeah.
Totally.
I feel like I
Now.
should move here.
Yeah.
These guys should all get together and go out.
Smoke some weed.
They should all go to Applebee's.
Yeah.
Can we get a table for 8? CD, Kevin Hart, Billy Joel, George Clinton, Willie.
Passing the
You got to put
medical
that.
marijuana.
Yeah,
It sounds like a Kids in the Hall sketch.
you got to put that out, Willie.
Yes,
He was like,
Willie
"Don't
is
you know I'm
listening
Willie
right now.
Nelson?"
William.
A lot of William going
Another
on.
William.
Yeah.
Anyway, we all know that he wrote that song for Patsy Cline, right? We know that.
No.
You don't.
I
know
did
that?
not know that.
Tell us, teacher.
You
Oh,
didn't know
really?
that Willie Nelson wrote this song?
Oh, wait, I've heard him sing it.
Oh.
This was his first baby step into
Nice.
making a living off of the music.
Nice.
This is not him singing.
Patsy
Why are you
Cline.
both looking at
He's
Rusty
very
every
versatile.
time they say crazy?
Patsy Cline. Also kind of earth-shattering happened yesterday. The music Prince's concert at Paisley Park, and of course the Baltimore song came out before, but he released it on the internet for free.
Very cool.
He is notorious for not having anything on the internet. Like, go try and find his stuff on YouTube.
Right.
His people immediately take it down. So he released this Baltimore song for free, and then he released a 40-minute concert that he recorded, I think, May 2nd at Paisley Park for free.
What if he was always like a really giving gentleman, though, but his handlers were the ones doing that? Like,
They're
what
like,
if he
no.
was like, no, you guys, stop it.
When I heard
want to
it-
give things away for free.
When I
And they're
heard-
like, no. And then they take it down.
But when I hear Prince is driving his crazy train, Prince is totally in charge of them details. But
I like to think of alternate scenarios. Like, what if he's a super nice? He's wearing like nice slippers at his house, drinking a mug of hot cocoa.
He
He's
only
like, I
wears
just
black
wanna
at
love
home.
And
I hate
then
purple.
somebody's just been orchestrating this whole persona.
He hates purple. It's his worst color. He's like, why do you guys keep dressing me in this?
They're like, all the tests came back.
God, guys, that's his voice. Hey.
fine, but I'm going to call it Lavender today. Lavender Rain.
That's his voice.
I hate
Guys,
purple.
you know I hate that color. Like, I don't know why he just got a cartoon man voice. That's my impression of every guy, though. Dude,
That's just the voice.
Yeah, that's it. I need to maybe hone it a little bit, but I think
Hey,
it's
if you're
going
good with
places.
something, just go with it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, like
Why
now,
not?
hey, you guys won't even know who's talking right now, but it's going to be Rusty. Hey, dude, here's another weird song I'm going to play for you. Bye. I have to leave early.
That was scary real.
I know.
Speaking of...
I'm so good
You
at
even
that.
thought you were talking right there.
Yeah,
I did.
You guys were like, "What? Why is it coming out of her mouth?"
You're a
Yeah.
ventriloquist. You're the devil. Speaking of
I've heard
cartoon
that before.
voices,
Oh, yes.
I thought it was a good moment. She's talking about cartoon voices.
No, I was doing your voice.
Oh.
And every man.
Gotcha. Well, talk
Carrie
about...
Shearer, the voice of the iconic Simpsons character, Mr. Burns, and a bunch of the other characters, he's leaving the show.
What?
So he's not going to there. They offered him $14 million to stay, and he still said bye.
Why?
Whoa.
Wow,
Yeah. So he had a
hates it
$14 million
there.
offer. And so they added in that he could work on his other projects and do a bunch of other things, and he still said no. So,
Wow.
you know, you kind of, when you're looking at the story, I wonder if it's, he's 70, you know, and he's been doing that show for 25 years. Is
Yeah.
he just sick
He's
of it
so
and all the
tired.
drama, and he just
Yeah.
wants to stay home?
$14
$14 million
million,
if they were trying to get him to continue for the 27th and 28th seasons, and he said no. Now, they say they're not going to just have like a mass killing and get rid of all these characters. They're going to recast it, but...
What?
I don't see how that will work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're like, they say we're not, you know, they're going to replace them and try and find some other people in the voice community.
so
I think
when
they should
other
shut it
people-
down.
Are we talking about people trying to mimic his voice, or just new characters altogether? Because
I think they'll probably
Yeah.
be, if they're saying they're not killing off the characters, it sounds like they're going to, you know, come up
See,
with some
that's
more
bad.
voice
You know,
members that are
this
going to,
is
voice
like
actors
the
that'll do
rule
it.
of thumb, leave before people want you to leave. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like this
Hey, I'll see
might
you guys.
be one
Take
of those
care.
situations. Simpsons is awesome. The longest running sitcom in the history of the world,
Yeah.
right? Amazing. But once you lose that flavor of what it's built upon and you're starting to, like, you know, like that never worked. I mean, I guess it worked in Bewitched where they had like the different Darrens.
That was just straight up
But
weird.
that
Yeah.
was,
And
you know,
people
it
are
was
still commenting
weird.
on it, you know,
yeah,
so-
I don't
But
think
there have
I
been-
don't think they should have like a different Mr. Burns.
There
Here's
have been
what have,
many
like-
Kermit
Yeah.
voices.
That's what I'm saying.
There have been
Kermit
many
worked, you know,
Mickey
they-
Mouse voices.
Yeah, but
they don't sound the same.
They
or
don't.
They're
no
not
place
going to
the
sound
same.
the same. They're not going to sound the same. So
and that's
now,
not a show. You know what I mean? Like that's not one particular show. That's like, you know, all of the Muppets and all of Disney World or whatever. It's, you know, like this is The Simpsons and they should stay the same.
And
or
so that's- well,
stop
that's-
doing it. They could just live off of the, you know, fruits of the reruns.
but he plays Mr. Burns, Ned Flanders,
Oh,
Principal
yeah.
Skinner,
Oh, Flan-
Reverend
oh,
Lovejoy,
my
Kent
God.
Brockman. He's all
the
these
whole
characters.
show.
He's the entire town, is what he is.
And you know, if they've replaced his voice, that first new episode, everyone's going to be hating on
Yeah.
Twitter.
And here's what I think that.
I'll be the first one.
So
I'm
this
such a
puts the
hater.
pressure on the writers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
you better
does.
come up with some
Yeah.
really clever episodes to overshine the fact that Harry Shearer's not
Yeah,
doing the
that's
voice as
true.
well. And so you wonder, are they going to do a little nod to the fact that they sound a little different? Or they, you know, how are they going to
That
cover
could be
that?
kind of
Probably.
funny.
Yeah. So if they
Like they
if
all
as a
have
writer-
laryngitis.
Yes, and then they all come back. Like, is there going to be a big catastrophic event or an alien going to come down and just change a bunch of the voices? Like, how are they going to handle it? So there are maybe some clever ways that they can still play true and it'll still work.
And
but-
who's to say this game is over? Because they've had voice walkouts in the history of the show, right? the voice of Homer was going to walk out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's been several. Well, I quit.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they resolved it and got back.
Well,
Let's
like when
think of,
Rusty
like-
was going to leave this show, and we're like,
Yeah.
well, we replaced him.
He did leave the show. This is not Rusty.
You guys just accidentally changed the door code. How did you accidentally change the door code? I don't think that's an
I'd like
accident.
to start thinking of like what he's so angry about that he refuses to do it. Like, what happened? Did somebody hurt him? Are you in a safe place, sir?
Are you in a safe place?
Can we help? Like, if you're listening, call us right now.
Right now.
As Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Because if you're walking away for $14 million for
and
this
they're just
2-year
like, just
contract,
2
and you're
more
like, I'm going to
years,
go
just-
do something else.
And you're like, wow, I'm
Yeah, I
sick
bet
and tired of
that's
this.
got to take a second thought.
Yeah.
$14 million just
Yeah,
to.
I would
come
think
on.
so. I mean,
Smithers, have the Rolling Stones killed.
Are you going to practice up? You should just start sending them.
really
Just
good.
start making YouTube
oh my
videos, so
God,
maybe you
Chuck,
could just get that
be
gig.
the new Harry.
The new Harry.
He is
Yeah.
Harry.
I know, yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about where we can see your comedy talents and anything else you want
Just
to.
right here. That's it. Yeah.
Well,
Nope,
we
I
appreciate
don't
it.
have any
We
more
appreciate
shows.
The Twin Cities Hit Show. We'll be right back.
MacMen. Don't let your computer problems drive you mad. We are MacMen, Minnesota's premier tech consultants and problem solvers for Macs, mobile devices, troubleshooting, training, and much more. No more dragging your computer all over town because we come to you. We love making house calls to your home or small business. MacMen. Call 612-345-8005. The Alive and Social Network is alive and growing. From the best in sports, music, movies, and beer, Alive and Social is what all the cool kids click on. Featuring characters like radio rebel Jeff Dubay, Star Tribune pundit Jim Suhan, Unfiltered, and television veteran and handsome man Rusty Gatenby. You can also taste the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly. Join the band with live band karaoke night from legendary O'Gara's in St. Paul and the live music showcase from Shamrocks. Yes, Alive and Social Network does indeed rock and roll. The Jeff DeBay Show, Jim Suhan Unfiltered, the Rusty Gatenby Review, the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly, live band karaoke, and Shamrock's live music showcase. Join the fun. Be alive and social with the Alive and Social Network.
The term foodie can sometimes come across as a tickle pretentious. BT and Lydia are here to demystify the term and reclaim it for the sake of good food. Their weekly podcast brings in fellow foodies and culture creators from the Twin Cities to talk about all things food. Find this duo only on the Alive and Social Network.
You're listening to the Twin Cities Hit Show. Say it fast 3 times. We just dare you.
Time's gone inside out. Time gets to start it.
You know who was mentioned on Letterman last night? We were talking about Prince, Minnesota's own Bob Dylan. Well, Letterman winds up his last show is Wednesday.
Wow.
Next week, Wednesday, he winds up his 31 years of The Late Show. And one of the few times, they were trying to think how many times, maybe only once before, he had Paul Schaefer sit down as a guest.
Oh, that's cool.
It was cool. And when they tell some highlights, and one of the highlights that Paul came up with was Bob Dylan. Being a music guy, of course, Paul loves Bob Dylan. Here's his anecdote about
I can remember in the early days of that show, or of the NBC
Our show on NBC.
Bob Dylan would come on.
That first time he came
very
on.
surprising. All of a sudden, oh my God, we got Bob Dylan.
Dylan is here, and I was just as excited. And I remember I knocked on his door. I wanted to say hello to him, and I go in there, and I see, he's got we've all been reading in the gossip columns. He's going with, I think it was Clyde King, the famous background singer, and I quoted his song. I think I'm so glib. I said, "Hey, Bob, what's a sweetheart like her doing at a place like this?" I think I'm so absolutely nothing, no reaction, and it's dead quiet in there. Finally, he kind of sidles up to me, and I think he's going to lay on me the secret of the universe, and he says, "Can you introduce me to Larry Bud Melvin?" And I'm telling you, I thought he was kidding, but he wasn't kidding. He wasn't kidding.
Oh, Bob.
So who's on there tonight? George Clooney, Tom Waits are on there tonight.
Yeah.
And we wrap up with Oprah. Oprah's
that
gonna
right?
Be on Friday. I know Oprah's going to be on Friday.
I got to believe Bill Murray has got to be the last guest since he was the first guest.
Maybe.
Oh, really? Wow.
Huh,
I'm
let's see, we'll
thinking
look it up.
Bill Murray, yeah,
We'll
because
look
he
it
was
up.
the very first guest. He's got to
Mhm.
make him the last guest. You want to do a late show, don't you? Don't you want to be on a...
That's my dream. Yeah, actually, my real dream for this.
For
I'm not
real?
even joking right now.
Okay.
I grew up. My dad would drive us to school, and we would listen to the KQ morning show. I'm not joking. Every morning, listening to that. That was always my dream.
So you want to be on that
I
show?
want to be on that show.
Well, we
I wanna
could
be
fix that.
I know.
We could call
and then,
him.
But then, if we could fix that, that'd be great. Because then I'd like to move on to bigger and better things.
Take that, Tom Bernard.
Like this show.
He'll be like, never. Now she cannot go on there. No, for real. That was always my dream to be on that show. And after that, then I'm thinking, I would like to be on a late night show, do SNL, go to New York, bring Chuck with me. He could ride on my coattails all the way there. We could end up
cute.
posing
So-
for Shannon Paul.
Do you have your 5-year plan mapped out then? Is this
Yeah.
going to happen?
It's going today was the first step.
Nice.
So being
Today.
here is step number one.
Entry level.
And
Ooh.
that's
I like
really
it.
I mean, that's really now that's gonna open doors to
Oh, yeah.
other things. So yeah, I mean, and right now I don't know if you guys know this, but I run the Tuesday night comedy showcase.
Well, by the way, for those of just tuning back, we're talking to Hessley Rey, comedian and
Is that your
producer.
real name?
No. So my real name is Heather, and this is something that I kept close to my soul for a long time because you're starting out comedy, and I had a corporate job at the time and didn't want my work to know what I was doing at night, and so I came up with this stage name because it was like a family nickname. My grandma called me Hess from the time I was a young child.
Did she have a speech impediment?
Yeah, she was retarded. It's poor grandma. No, she's rest in peace. Anyway, she ended up. She's
No,
old
she's just dead. She's not retarded. She's just
German lady, and we never knew why she called me Hess. It was just
Something she started
did.
using.
She died before I found out, and then later I looked up the meaning of Hess in German, and it means ugly. So I don't know if I was just a really horrible looking child, or if she was trying to. Maybe it was she was calling me that to make me become pretty. I don't know. Anyway, the whole thing is it
She
hurts my
hated you.
feelings. She hated me. It hurts still to this day. No, so my whole family calls me Hess. Whatever. It's a family name.
But Hessley is
But
beautiful. That was a
Hessley,
good selection.
it was a good selection. And then Ray came from because I was in a writing group, and there were 3 Heathers because children of the 80s, everyone was named Heather,
Mhm.
and they started calling me Heathery for some reason, and then Ray came out of that. So then Hessley Ray came together, and a lot of people just call me that in my regular life. But
When
that's
Isaac-
not my real name.
Isaac calls you Heather. Isaac Whitty.
Yeah,
And it's-
he co-produces the Tuesday night show with me.
It throws you off when
It
you know somebody that
totally
has
does.
a stage name, and that's
Yeah.
what you get. And I
Yeah.
have friends that are like that too, where I pick and choose.
Yeah.
I call them their name to their when we're just
Yeah.
Right,
and it's
yeah.
just the two of us. But then I have to
Yeah.
remember when we go out,
Right.
it's weird when
awkward for
Yeah.
everyone, and I like to make it that way.
yeah. And isn't it funny when
course you do.
somebody that's a friend who knows you as Heather switches to Hessley? Because
No,
that's how I feel. I
it's-
feel like when people just know me as Shannon, and then I go back and then they start calling me Miss Shannon,
Yeah.
then I'm like, what? But no, you get to just
Oh,
stay with
yeah,
Shannon.
you
Now it's
can
all
just do
awkward that you
yeah.
started using my stage.
Rusty's not my real name.
Yeah. This Miss Shannon
It's
thing
Miss
throws me off
Rusty.
to this day.
Yeah, it's Miss Rusty. No,
I know your real name. I know all your real names. Well, yours is your
Yeah.
real name, but yeah, it's
So anyway, I would say the stage name off track, but the stage name thing, it works because it's a family nickname, and so it's endearing. Like,
So
I
smart.
like being called that. Anyway, and if people call me Heather, I feel like I'm at work, or it's like
Been
I'm
pulled
at
over by the
school, or I
cops.
got pulled over by Chuck again. And
That's
it's
how
like,
we met.
Heather, and I'm like, you can call me Hessley. Throw my booze out the window, and sorry.
Unfortunately,
about that,
most things I see with my real name on it always involves bad news.
Yeah, it's like
yes.
for me too. It's like the debt collector, or the
where I
Star
open up.
Tribune. We all owe them money, and they call us Heather or Charles.
Tell us about the Tuesday night thing.
Tuesday.
Then. Why
Okay,
should we go, and what goes on?
All right, so the Tuesday Night Comedy Showcase, it was an idea that Isaac and I came up with. And Isaac Whitty, for those of you who don't know, awesome local comedian, nationally touring guy.
Shows up every other time you invite him. Yes,
He's
go on.
awesome, and he's been putting a lot of work into this show too. But he's Letterman, Conan fame. Like he's just hilarious, really, really doing well with comedy. He and I were hanging out, like we're good friends. He's good friends with my children, and we used to live in the same house together. And anyway, he's great. We were sitting around talking. He's like, Hess, you got, or Heather. He's like, you got to try, starting up a new weeknight show. It would be great. It's a great idea. And I just said to him, like, I'm totally willing to do that. I'm good with connections and marketing, and like I can get us a spot. But I need your help bringing in the good comedians. So, I wanted it to be a showcase style. We would bring in the people who are touring, the Acme comics, like everyone who's been proven in the comedy world would get to be in the lineup. We would do it Tuesday nights. We're monthly through the summer. So once a month, these people, if they're in town, come out to this show. That's kind of the allure. Then we were lucky enough, the Uptown VFW, I met with them, and they were immediately all on board. And so, and these are a bunch of old vets, you know what I mean? Like sitting around like this huge like lunchroom table in their hall, and like some of them are like, I don't know who's this Hessler, and they were, a little reluctant. And I got one guy like sitting back with his arms like crossed over his chest, and he was like, I don't know if we want that. I don't know.
He wasn't sure about your project.
By the end of our meeting, everyone was like leaning forward. Everyone's all smiles. Like they have been so supportive to us. And so, I mean, bending over backwards to change the hall around, like just, help us out with whatever we need, doing drink specials. They did like free drinks for Target layoffs one night we had, and like just, they've been really, really amazing. Isaac's been great. Chuck has been there most of the Tuesday nights that we've been doing it, and like just helping it be a well-produced show. And we've been doing great. We've been getting some great names out. Awesome. Everyone leaves feeling really positive, and that's really what my vision was, is like, let's create a room where people, it's free cover, you can go there, have a cheap date night, or, just a night out, go laugh, leave feeling better than when you came in. And that's what we're doing.
What's neat about this room, and I've talked about it before, but for Tuesday night showcase, the numbers you brought in, I think the first night there were 140 people.
There were 153 people.
Yeah. And
nice.
Chuck.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't
I suck
forget
at math.
about those 13.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't like those 13.
Yeah, they were really negative.
Snarky.
They were not laughing at all.
But I think the lowest you've had is like 50 or 60.
Yep.
And that's really impressive for a Tuesday night show.
Yep.
And the comedians are top notch.
Because it's VFW, all the jokes involve John Wayne and Bing Crosby.
Yes.
And,
That's one of the requirements. So, and comedians love that when you say, like, you can have a spot in the lineup and where you're not getting paid, but you
Tell
can't
these
use
jokes.
any of your material.
Bob Hope
at all.
material. It's all Bob
all
Hope.
Bob Hope and John Wayne. Are you on board? Yes or no? And they're like,
sign me up.
So
when
John,
can I do it? Yeah.
John Wayne was having butt sex. And
That's every joke by every. Yeah, you just ruined it. Now no one will want to come because
Back
you
to
just
the writing board.
Yeah. Spoiler
Spoiler,
alert.
right.
Write my new 30 seconds this year.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds fantastic, and I'm going to have to go.
So how do we find it?
All right, so Tuesday Night Comedy Showcase, we are on the interwebs at
fancy.
www.tuesdaynightcomedyshow.com.
How'd you come up with that?
Yeah, it was difficult. I had some inspiration from another Monday night show. It just changed the day. We're there. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're everywhere. So just look. If you Google Tuesday Night Comedy Showcase in Minneapolis, we will come up.
Nice.
Hessley Rey, to Hessley space REY. I'm putting everything up on my website. It's HessleyRey.com. And, we're out there. VFW Uptown website has it too. So really, all you have to do is Google us and you'll find us.
And again, the next show, you're down to a monthly through the summer, but the next show is on Tuesday at
19th.
8:30 p.m.
8:30, yep, but get there early. We have been noticing that people tend to come right at 8:30, and that's when we're trying to shut the doors and get the show started. So get there early, get a drink. The drink specials are amazing. I think last week we had the last time we did it was $3 wine. And, the ladies love that. So it really is a cheap date night for cheapos like Chuck to bring Holly if she's not too fancy going to concerts without you.
Yeah, that's
no kidding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I'll be on there Tuesday. You're there.
I am there.
You're there every Tuesday.
I have to be there. Yeah,
it's her show.
If I don't go, people tend to wonder if I'm just one of those lazy comedians.
Yeah.
No, so I will be there. Isaac will be there. Isaac is in the lineup this next week too. Cool. So that's going to be really fun. We've got a really strong lineup of great comedians. A couple of them are surprise guests. A lot of them are just the Acme flavors. And I'm really excited about it.
Awesome.
So, and we've been, like Chuck said, we've been packing the room and the energy is so good. And that's something that's, for me, really fulfilling to produce a show that the energy is that great.
Oh yeah, I've heard great things
everyone
about the show.
Just leaves feeling so happy.
What kind of sincerely? What kind of things do you joke about? What are some of your insights and your humor?
Okay.
Where does it go?
So, boobs. That is one thing that I do. Female comedians, I don't like it, and I don't know how you feel about this, but when they talk too much about their periods or anything it's just I have a really quirky sense of humor, and so I like to do things that are pretty wayward and around you think it's going one direction but it totally doesn't, and a lot of people leave feeling confused. There are 2 people in Canada who get my humor, and they're listening right now, so hi ladies. But yeah, so my ex, this is a true story. I'll give you the background, and I know you got to go, but I'll tell Chuck again. He knows. And Shannon, you can hear. My ex-husband ended up being gay, and we really went through that. This is a true story, and that's really when I started my stand-up. And so then my whole story was I never knew what gay men did.
Okay.
So a lot of because I was Lutheran and whatever, I was inexperienced, so I didn't know what they did. So a lot of my sets are imagining what they could be doing together, and it's
because you're not familiar with it.
It tends to go over well, and I think I can say that as the ex-wife of a gay man. We're friends now. You know what I mean? And I love gay people. I married one.
Accidentally. Doesn't
but
count.
You know what I like it
but now
ended up
you're
being really positive and good, and it's just quirky, weird humor, or
and you're talking from a perspective that's your own.
That I know. Yeah, exactly. So, or no-ish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not a gay man, but
right.
I can sure make fun of them. So we just alienated those crowds.
Yeah.
But that's really where a lot of my humor goes. And then, it's anecdotal stuff from my life, stuff about my kids, you know, and I do try to leave it quirky and positive, and so that's really what it is.
That's super cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So Tuesday nights, 19th is the next show.
Great show.
And what if I was lying about all of this though, and Isaac is not involved, and no talent will be there? It's just Chuck and me, just me and Chuck and the DJ.
I'm sure it will be a very interesting show.
I won't lie to you. This is a room that I have never left thinking I had a bad set.
That's
really,
true. Yeah,
it has been
which is
fun.
Great.
Yeah.
But the crowd is so amazing, and that's really what brings it for me. Is they are so ready and receptive for comedy, and you don't always get that, you know. And especially in a bar on a weeknight, most people are oh, I wanted to talk to my friends, or if they even come out at all. Here they're coming in droves to come to the show. They want to see it. They're hungry for it.
And that does make a big difference.
I mean,
a lot of times when you're doing bar shows, you're right that it's people that just came to the bar and they didn't even know there was a show.
Bad sets at bars where people weren't surprised by comedy.
Exactly.
Well, we did have now twice people pass out in the back. So there was that. You didn't even notice, but last time,
really?
Yeah, there was a lady who came in and she was kind of getting lippy, so I told her to shut up. But she was, and then.
I've had people pass out at my shows before, but normally it's like
I
the
thought they were
second,
passing
like the
out
late
from
shows.
laughter.
No, it's that late show thing where people think that they have the energy and they're edgy enough to go to a late night comedy show, and they are not.
Okay, here's my
They
favorite.
don't have the stamina for that.
I closed out the Fargo had a big award show and presentation for. Oh, it was a contest in Fargo.
Okay,
and I was brought up to be the headliner, and I was pretty new. I wasn't very good yet, anyway. But thanks to those guys. But so I'm the only.
That's some made up.
Yeah.
Some made up contest.
I was to close it out. I was going to do 20 minutes while they tabulated the scores, and this room was packed, a couple hundred people. Well, they'd been watching comedy for like 3 hours.
Oh, so
I get up, and they're like done, and I get up. And I'm on stage, and I start telling my second joke, and a lady at table 1, very front and center stage, pukes all over the table and everyone on it, and the whole room cleared out. There are 7 people.
So you
left.
walked everybody.
Yeah, I made someone throw
You
up
made
for
her
my
so
comedy.
nauseous.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
That was a painful.
You know what? Let's just say, ma'am, if you're out there listening, we're sorry that you had to listen to that.
He's gotten much better.
Yeah.
He's gotten much better since then.
She threw up.
Better-ish, I would say. I mean, yeah, he's got some great sets at the Tuesday night show, but again, it's more the crowd.
That they would have just laughed at anything.
Yeah.
That
awesome.
air horn and puppet I bring up work. Actually, the DJ there always does this sound. He does that hockey thing.
Yeah. But it works, because people expect that now too. The comedians don't always love that.
What is it? That air horn?
It's like.
Yeah, it's
like
the
hockey
Pitbull
air horn.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know where it came from, but he plays it when he's allowed to.
Yeah, I know where I want it to go. I don't know where it came from either. I know where I want it to go.
Wow.
Well, he's
not like
vet.
a gong show type thing.
So it's like a
air horn. It's like
an air horn.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I'm not questioning the noise. I'm questioning the
Why he
usage
does-
of the noise. Right.
Okay. So he's an awesome guy too. He's a vet and love him. Like his name is DJ King Gorilla, and I love him.
That's also a stage name.
No, that's his.
He's beautiful. Let's name him DJ. Oh no, let's go with
Gorilla.
Gorilla.
Anyway, he's amazing. I love him, but he's also one of those DJs who I think wants to get on the stage sometimes, and so. So we started out, and he had a lot of sound effects. He's now we've worked together enough where he only uses it when it's appropriate.
We've worked together
We've had the
enough.
talk. We had to have a talk.
That is not how you punctuate a punchline. Is that what it is?
Sometimes when you do that noise, it hurts people's ears, and they
Or
don't
feelings.
like it, and then it ruins the joke.
Yeah.
So the
Don't take this the wrong way, Gorilla.
This is gonna hey, my friend and I were just talking about this too. Do you hate it when people start a conversation I know this is probably going to be really awkward, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings. So if your feelings get hurt, and they just draw it out to the point where you're like, oh my god, what are they going to say to me?
You want them just to get
to
it.
You're really nice.
Super normal though. At the end, this is really awkward, but
I like you.
You're wearing a great shirt today. It was one of those. I was like, this is gonna probably come across as bitchy. I don't know if I can say. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Okay. This is gonna come across really mean, or awkward, and weird. But that noise that you make, not you physically, but that noise that you press the button and do, only do it when I'm up on stage because I need that to help with my lack of actual material.
Oh, that was a nice way for you to put it.
Wow.
So you just took all the air horn bullets for everybody. That is very nice.
I'm
of
a
you.
mom. That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I'm a dad. We should just shake our kids. That's all
Problem
we do.
solver.
Yeah.
That's what you are, Hessley. A problem solver.
Thanks.
Indeed.
Yeah, but I am excited, and Chuck's been doing a great job. So all kidding aside, you should come out to see him if nothing else.
Yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Not Isaac though, and Shannon. Now that we're sitting here, I'd love to have you.
Oh,
one of
okay.
these
We'll work
Tuesdays.
something up one of these.
That
Yeah,
would
one of
be
these months.
great.
I will be happy to come down and hang out with you
That
guys.
would be
It'll be
awesome.
good times.
Yes.
Would be a good time indeed. Rusty left with all of our production music. It's not loaded into.
Oh, I have some ideas. If you need a little
Very
filler.
nice.
I think we can do without that
Yeah,
one time. I think.
Okay. Hey, say it to me though in the long drawn out way.
Okay, I hope that you're okay with what I'm about to say, because I really just want you to take it in the spirit of what I'm about to say. I really don't think that we need to have any sound effects when we
That's
go out.
it?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to tell me that I had a big booger on my face. Take this in the spirit in which it was intended.
Right.
But you're horrifying and your breath smells.
I mean this from a place of love, kind of thing.
It's coming out of love.
We're getting live tweets right now. People are saying Hessley was an enjoyable guest on the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Nice.
Thanks,
Live
Mom.
tweets. Thanks, fans.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, fans.
And you can come see her go see her on Tuesday.
Oh,
yeah.
that's so nice. Yes.
So,
Please do. I would love that. And if you guys come as a result of the show, I will give you a hug.
Nice.
Yeah. So
free hugs.
Shannon,
Yep,
do you have
free
anything
hugs.
else pending this weekend, comedy-wise, Hessley?
No, I'll be hanging out at my house, I think, on Sunday afternoon grilling, if anyone wants to come.
I will send my kids over so I can nap.
send my kids over. No, I don't have anything this weekend. But Tuesday, I'm really gearing up for that. A lot of my energy is going into that. Cool.
And
it
we'll
should be a great show.
We'll post links on the website and on our Facebook page for your stuff as
Awesome.
well.
Mhm. Thank
Shannon,
you.
what do you have shaking this weekend?
I'm at the House of Comedy tonight,
Nice.
and I'm doing that. And this weekend, I'm at MSP Comic Con, where we're going to that over at the
Very
fairgrounds. So we'll be hanging out there. And we also have at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. You can tune in and hear Your Geek Show.
Oh, nice.
This weekend, we're going to be doing some geekly relationship advice. We have our that is then, and we're also going to be talking about Game of Thrones.
Relationship. Let me
Geekly
guess.
relationship advice.
Geeky relationship advice. Ask them out. Start with that.
Well,
take a
actually,
shower.
we are actually even taking it to the next step because we do have I have a good cast member who's going to start giving relationship advice. So we're even going to take on the deep, heady topics of trying to fix the relationship that's going on with Tiger Woods and Lindsey Vonn.
Oh,
So,
good luck with that.
Yes. Along with
That's
that,
a
we'll
deep
also
one.
we're also going to have some local music that we'll focus on with Rob Callahan, our music geek, and the Jane Satia. We're going to talk about some movies, and a lot of what I think we're handle this weekend is that thus far all of us are really, really pissed off about the new Gem and the Holograms.
Me too.
Thing.
Yeah.
If you didn't see it, the Gem and the Holograms trailer that came out is nothing like what all of the Gem and the Hologram fans thought that it was going to be. So I'm sure that'll come up in conversation, along with the new Supergirl trailer that came out, which again seems very disappointing. So
anticlimactic.
yes,
Yeah.
and so we're going to be handling a lot of that this weekend on Saturday at 11 a.m. on Your Geek Show.
Can you talk about your other gig? We've never brought it up, but are you going to be the?
I'm also on Go 96.3
Okay,
this
good.
afternoon and tomorrow afternoon from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So I keep busy, and I'm on
We
On the
should take
Fly
it
as
time.
well.
Yeah.
So I'll be on the Fly. Yeah, so
Busy
I
little petunia.
Yes, I go from here to go be on the Fly. I go from here and I'll be on Go 96.3 from 1 to 4, and then tonight at 11 p.m. you'll be able to check me out on the Fly on My 29.
Do
Okay.
you sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, never.
Nah, not really. You got to think. And then I eat in the car as I transition from one place to the next. So
Good for you.
But there are worse
Hardcore.
problems to have.
Yeah,
there are
that's
worse
true.
problems to have.
I am. Will be in Amherst Junction, Wisconsin tonight as a feature.
Nice.
Hit the road here at 1 o'clock. And then I'm going to plug ahead for next Tuesday. Obviously, we've got this gig at the VFW Uptown. Oh, I can't be there. Guess what? I will not be there. You know why?
Check. Oh,
I'm
you're
at
doing
the House of
House of
Comedy.
Comedy
Yeah,
thing.
that's
right. I forgot about
so
that.
come to that if you want to see my comedy stylings. I need people to cheer for me at the Funniest Person with a Day Job contest.
That's
Tuesday
going to be
night.
a good show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will.
Yeah.
And there's some actually going against some very good friends here. It's kind of frustrating. And then tomorrow is actually we have a little bump in for it, but it's going to be a repeat. The gang decided to take a vacation, and you'll be listening. We're
guys
going
are
to
in a
direct you to an old
gang?
episode.
Yep.
Yeah, not that kind of gang. A geeky gang.
Right.
So make sure you tune in tomorrow. We'll be replaying a great episode, and yeah, I guess that's it.
And then everybody have a
Well,
great
thank you
weekend.
so
and we'll
much
see
for
you back
having
on
me, you
Monday.
guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Hessley Rey, for coming in. And no music, so Twin Cities Hit Show, Twin Cities Hit Show, Twin Cities Hit Show. Say it fast 3 times.
Goodbye.